Hello, everyone, and welcome to another webinar by CA Club India. So, the topic for today is going to be the 73,000 crore measures announced by the finance minister amidst the pandemic and the impact of these measures. So, this webinar is going to be covering the LTC cash voucher scheme as well as the special festival advance scheme. And to talk to us about this, we have with us CA Geetanshu Balla. He carries a decade-long experience in tax consultancy, including in cross-border taxation, transfer pricing, and corporate taxation. He also holds a diploma in international taxation from ICAI, and he is regular in writing articles for various tax journals, newspapers, and news portals. Today, we are privileged to have him with us to speak on this topic. And before I hand it over to Sir, I would like to mention that this is going to be a speaker session. So if you have any questions at all, please post them in the chat box and we go over them in the Q&A session. So with that said, Sir, the meeting is all yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you for the wonderful introductions and providing me the opportunity to do this kind of seminar. So, should I share my screen to all of you, to everyone?
Yes, sir. That would be possible. I think that would be good.
Just a minute.
Okay.
Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
So the today topic is the measures of 73 crores announced by the finance minister amongst the COVID-19 and their impact. So first of all, let me discuss about the flow of content. First, we have to discuss about the introduction. Then what is the leave travel concession? What is the scheme of the leave travel concession cash incentive scheme? Thereafter, we will discuss about special festive advance schemes. And thereafter, we will take a question answer if any. So at the very beginning, does the announced measure really amounting to 73,000 crore as announced by the finance minister? So basically, Ministry of Finance has released a press release where it is mentioned that the whole measures goes to 73,000 to the government. I have put up the headlines, the screenshot of the headline of the press release. And thereafter, Ministry of Finance also released an extra where it is mentioned that the 73,000 is a demand infusion because of this incentive, because of these schemes. Now, my point is the Ministry of Finance is very confused about whether the 73,000 crore is the cost to the government or is the total demand infusion among the in the society, in the economy. So, first of all, it is very difficult to understand what is the outcome of this scheme. Second point is government is very confused about the intent of introducing this scheme. Because at the time of introduction of LTC cash voucher scheme, government has given the intention that government employees save a lot of money on account of traveling expenses, canteen expenses, rent expenses, etc., and does not have any kind of salary cut during the lockdown period and thereafter. And accordingly, now to promote them to spend their money, they are saving money because they have saved their money. Not in the normal circumstances, they have saved the money in addition to the normal circumstances like the transportation costs they have saved, the canteen expenses, the rent expenses, and all other. So point is government is introduced this scheme to promote the spending out of the saving of the employees. So government have an injunction that the government employees have a lot of savings with them, and now the economy requires their expenditure. On the other hand, on the same day, government has introduced another scheme, which is related to a special festival advance scheme, and where the government has given the intention that to enable the government employee to meet the expenses related to the festival. My point is whether the government is confused about the intention of introducing these schemes. At one hand, they say government employees have a huge huge savings in their bank accounts, which needs to be spent to promote the expenditure in the economy. And on the other hand, they say they don't have money with them to meet the expenses related to the festival. So I think this scheme is very does not have any clear intent with them. So let's start with the original scheme. The original scheme is is of two types. One is the measures to stimulate the consumer demand, and another is the measures to stimulate to extra capital expenditure. So today I am discussing about the measure to stimulate the consumer demand, which is of two type: LTC cash voucher scheme, and another is a special festival advance scheme. When I am talking about the leave travel concession cash incentive scheme, what is this scheme is? Basically, this scheme is about this scheme is only for the central government employees, which have not availed the LTC till now, and they gave an additional option to the central government employees to opt for the LTC cash incentive scheme in lieu of the LTC, wherein they are required to incur the expenses either to buy the goods or services which attract at least 12% of GST from the registered GST vendors, and the payment should be made in digital form. The irony is the name of the scheme is the cash incentive scheme, a cash voucher scheme, and the payment should be made in a digital mode. Of course, it is very important to make the payment in the digital mode to promote the digital currencies and digital mode. So the point is there are four conditions. You have to buy the goods or services. Such goods and services must attract 12% of GST, 12% or more of the GST. Such goods must be purchased from the registered GST vendors, and the payment of the consideration for such goods or services must be made through a digital mode. And another question is how much we have to spend to avail this scheme. The answer is you have to spend 3 times of the deemed fare. What is deemed fare? Government has introduced 3 different slab for the fare. So these are known as the deemed fare, which we will discuss in that later stage. So you have to spend the 3 times of the deemed fare as well as the amount of the leave encashment to avail this LTC amount as well as the leave encashment amount. So is there any advance option available under the scheme? Yes, the advance option is available under the scheme. Advances, you can claim the 50% of the fare along with 100% of your leave encashment as an advance. So what is deemed LTC? Deemed LTC is employees who are entitled to business class of airfare for the LTC is 36,000 per round per person, per round trip per person. Let's take example. You are eligible for 4 people of your family to claim the LTC. Now is 36,000 multiplied by 4 is 1,44,000 you can claim as a deemed LTC, and you for claiming the 1,44,000 you have to spend 3 times more. It's approximate 4 to 4.5 lakh in between. So employees who are entitled to economic class of airfare. So it's a 20,000. Let's take example. You have a family of 4. You can claim the LTC around 80,000 rupees. And if you are entitled for a rail fare of any class, it's first class, second class, or third class, you can claim 6,000 rupees round trip per person. So if you have a family of 4, you can claim it as a 6,000 multiplied by 4 is 24,000 rupees. So answer is that you cannot claim the LTC only by spending the deemed LTC or by spending the 3 times of the deemed LTC. You have to spend the leave encashment as well. So leave encashment is as per your scale, as per your basic and DA. So this is the basic introduction about the scheme. What is the scheme about? Now the question is practically what kind of issues are arising. First issue is where the employee spent 3 times of the fare, but not spend the amount of leave encashment. Let's take an example. If an employee have eligible for a rail fare, let's take an example, 6,000 per round trip per family, and they have a family of 4. Now it's 24,000, and they are eligible to claim the leave encashment amounting to rupees. Let's take an example, 16,000 for a simplicity. So it's 24,000 plus 16,000. It's 40,000. So basically an employee can claim a 40,000 rupees as a LTC plus a leave encashment, but they have to spend 24,000 multiplied 3 is 72,000 plus 16,000 it's 88,000. So an employee, central government employee, have to spend 88,000 to claim just 40,000 from the government. Another point is when I have spent 88,000 to claim that 40,000, how much it's a tax free and how much is not a tax free. So 24,000, that fair rate is a tax-free for the central government employee. They have expended 80,000 rupees and 16,000 is a taxable. You have to pay the tax on that. Next, another question is, if let's take an example, the employee has not incurred 80,000 rupees. Employee has incurred, let's take an example, 60,000 rupees. Now the issue is whether the can claim that I have spent the 16,000 rupees leave encashment, and remaining out of 60,000 I have spent it 16,000 for the on account of leave encashment, and remaining 44,000 is for the total fare. So you can divide the 44,000 rupees by 3 and give the deduction out of that. Let's take an example. Let's take for the simplicity, we take it as a 45,000, and so client, so the employee divided by 3 is 50,000 to 15,000. So employee can claim 15,000 as a fare and 16,000 as a leave encashment. So total amount is approximate 31,000. Can employee claim that 31,000 rupees? Answer is no. So we will discuss this, see what is the answer. We will discuss it at a later stage. Second option is where employees spend the amount of leave encashment but not spend the amount of fare under this scheme. This is a vice versa question, that if they have spent the leave encashment and not spent the fare amount. Third case is where employees spend less than the amount required to be incurred under this scheme. That's, I just give you an example, that if employees required to spend 80,000 rupees under this scheme and they have spent 60,000 rupees out of this scheme. Fourth question is where employees spend higher than the amount required to be incurred under the scheme. Let's take an example. If employee has incurred 1 lakh rupees, despite the fact that he is required to spend only 80,000 rupees under this scheme. We will discuss under this case. Fifth case is where employees not entitled to leave encashment for the LTC, because leave encashment, it is not in the practice that you can claim a leave encashment n number of times in during your term. There is restriction about there's a restriction to avail the leave encashment for the LTC for each and every employee of the central government. So we will discuss about this issue as well. And the last case is where employees already retired prior to October 20 without claiming LTC. So first of all, let's start with the first case where employees spend 3 times of the fare but not spend amount of leave encashment under the scheme. Let's take an example with this. Just a minute. Let's take an example. The leave encashment amount is approximate 55,000 based on the employees. Fare is 20. He is eligible for the airfare economy class. Is 20,000 rupees. The family have 4 members, is 80,000 rupees. The total value which he can claim is 1,34,000, is 1,35,000 for the simplicity. Amount to be spent for full cash benefit. The leave encashment amount as well as the 3 times of the fare, that is 2,40,000. 80,000 multiplied by 3 is 2,40,000. So amount of fare is 2,40,000 plus leave encashment amount, that is totaling 2,95,000 for the simplicity. Share of leave encashment. Now we have to calculate the share of leave encashment in total amount. That is, share of the leave encashment now comes to 18% and the share of the fare is 27%. Now, if the employee is spending a less amount than it is required under the scheme, then we have to give the proportionate benefit to the client, to the employee. Let's take an example. If the employee spent 2,40,000 rupees only, he may allow 18% on account of leave encashment. That is 18% of 55,000 for the simplicity. That is approximate 43 or 244,000 rupees, and 27,000 of the fair value. That is approximate 64,800. So my point is, if you spend less than the amount which is required under the scheme, you can get the pro rata basis. You can get the benefit of pro rata basis. So this whole scenario, whole scheme is only applicable to the central government. We will discuss later on to the state governments as well as the private sector employee. We will at this moment we will discuss only about the central government employees. So Second question is when the spend is, this is the same question, same answer is there. When the employee spend less than the amount is that is already there. Where the employee spend higher than the amount required to be incurred. So answer is if the employee has incurred a higher amount what is required under this scheme, they have claimed to the extent is allowable under the scheme. Let's take an example. In our example, employee is required to spend 80,000 rupees. When employee is spending 1 lakh rupees, they cannot claim the benefit of 1 lakh rupees. They can claim the benefit of 80,000 only. The fifth case is where the employee is not entitled for a leave encashment for LTC. This is not clear under the law. This question is not very clear under the law. Still, I have an opinion that and if the SSC, if the employee is not eligible for the leave encashment, still they can claim this as an full and final exemption. I just give you basic. I would like to emphasize on this paragraph of the particular office memorandum. The admissible payment shall be restricted to the full value of package, leave encashment admissible for the LTC. So what is admissible? The leave encashment admissible for LTC. My point is when the SSC is not admissible, when SSC is not eligible for the leave encashment for the LTC. So here the amount will be a nil and deemed fair is according to the eligibility of the fare. So in my opinion, this is not very clear, but in my opinion, SSC can claim the benefit of the scheme. Now the point is where the SSC is already retired prior to October 22 without claiming LTC. I have an opinion that SSC cannot claim this scheme, cannot avail the benefit of this scheme because he has already retired from the job, from the employment. So in my opinion, because there are so many people who have raised this question, in my opinion, there is no very clear answer, but yes, in my opinion, it should be not be because the leave encashment, because LTC, for the LTC, you have to be on the employment. You have to be on the payroll of some company or a central government or on your employer. So now this is related to a central government employees. Now my point is, should a central government employee go for this scheme? Answer is lie with this two words additional option. This is not very clear, but we have to, in my opinion, this is an additional option. But on pursuit of the office memorandum issued by the particular ministry, there is no very clear that this is the additional option or this is in lieu of the already available option, right? Let's take an example. If I am a central government employee, and I want to avail the benefit of LTC by going to a particular state, let's take an example of Northeast, any of the Northeast state where there is no coronavirus situation is not very dangerous. Is there any option available with me to avail the central government, to avail the LTC right now? Or is this scheme is substitute the original LTC scheme? So if this is in addition to the scheme, then in that scenario, my point is, please wait for the situation until January or February. If you can have an option to go to some particular state, like there is nothing like a pandemic in whole country. You can visit Kanyakumari, you can visit Northeast states. Then you can, it's your depend upon you. But yes, because government has specified that even if you are eligible for a first class rail fare, you can claim only a 6,000 rupees for the round trip, which in my opinion is very less. So if you have an option, you can avail that. Otherwise, you can avail this scheme. This is a fantastic scheme for the central government employees. Now the question is whether it is applicable to the private sector employees also, or whether it is as attractive as central government or private sector employees, as attractive as central government employees. My point is no. Why? Reason is because central government employees have the option, have the LTC benefit in addition to their cost to the central government. Basically, this is over and above their salary. But as far as the private sector employees is concerned, this is not over and above the salary. It is a part of their salary. So LTCs, they are going to receive this LTC part irrespective whether they incur the expenditure or not. Second point is, for the central government employees, they cannot extend their benefit. They cannot extend the availability of this particular LTC scheme if they cannot, if they will not claim this scheme till 31st March 2021. They cannot claim in 2020, 21-22. But on the other hand, private sector employees, because there is no restriction that they have to incur the expenses for claiming the LTC. They can claim. As far as the tax position is concerned, they can extend this journey to the next level, to the next year, that is financial year 21-22. Because as per the income tax rules, tax benefit from one journey can be extended to the next year as per the provision of the Act. As far as leave encashment is concerned, it is taxable for both for both central government employees as well as far as private sector employees. So now the question is impact on an economy. Basically, these schemes are introduced with the intention that it will increase the consumer spending. So is it really is it really stimulate the consumer spending? My question is not very clear. My point is we are not very clear about what kind of expenditure they are allowed. They are just mentioning that you can purchase the goods or service which attract 12% or more GST and from a registered vendor, and payment should be in a digital mode, right? My point is, I have a internet expenses which attract the GST more than 12%. I have a telephone expenses. I have a gym bill, gym invoices. I have my daughter have a coaching classes. I have their expenses which attract the GST of approximately more than 12%. I have a expense related to perishable goods like carbonated drinks, like ready to make things, instantable foods. I have a perishable goods like daily use products like toothpaste, shoes, and all the stuff. So my point is, if I can claim these kind of things which I have to incur irrespective of whether the scheme is available or not, like coaching classes expenses, like internet expenses, like telephone expenses, like cable TV expenses, like perishable goods expenses, like daily use expenses. So if I can claim these kind of expenses, I don't think so is there any way to stimulate the consumer spending. So let's take an example. If I have I have eligible for the railway fare, 6,000 rupees. I have 4 family members, 24,000 rupees, multiplied by 3, 72,000 rupees. I have a leave encashment of 90,000 rupees. So I have to incur the 90,000 rupees for claiming the 40,000, for claiming the 42,000 from the government. Now point is, if I have bifurcated this 90,000 into 6 different parts, 6 particular months, October, November, December, January, February, March, I have to spend 15,000 rupees per month. And I can claim the benefit of such goods and services which I have already availed, like cable TV, like telephone, like internet, like perishable goods. So is 15,000 is very big amount which I cannot meet without any other further expenditure. To my mind, no, it is not such as a big amount. As far as 3 lakh is concerned, or as like other level of things are concerned, I don't think so, because I have a society bill which attracts GST. I have a health club bill which attracts GST. So this is the way. I don't think so. In my opinion, government should bring something like you don't spend on such goods and services which is regular in nature, right? Second point is, when you are talking about this consumer spending, there is no restriction to purchase the imported item. My point is, when government is running a campaign like Vocal for Local, If someone has purchased a mobile which is manufactured outside India, and which is approximate 80% of their value spending outside India. My point is, what is the logic behind that to purchase a mobile which is manufactured outside India and 80% of the value is generated outside India to avail this scheme? So in my opinion, government should bring some kind of list that this is kind of goods or service which will not be availed under this scheme, and should not buy a goods or service which is importing nature, which do not provide any kind of significant value addition in India. Second question is, when I'm talking about the impact on the economy, is it tantamount to deceive with the composition dealer? Because government has said that the goods or services must attract a 12% or more. The GST rate for the composition dealer is less than a 12%. My point is, government have asked the small taxpayer to avail the composition scheme just for the reducing compliance work. They have not told that they have coming with some kind of new scheme where they have put themselves outside the scheme. So my point is it deceive? Because government ने बोला था कि भाई composition dealers को हम फायदा देंगे, हम उनको compliance reduction देंगे, and at the later stage they have put themselves outside. So this is the issue. I think government को composition dealers के लिए लेके आना चाहिए. बहुत सारे composition dealer है जो ऐसे goods में deal करते हैं जहाँ पे 18% या 28% है, और वो composition dealer की scheme में आ चुके हैं, इसलिए वो rate कम है. So I think government should bring a new amendment under the scheme to bring out the composition dealer in themselves. Third point is, are there any sufficient check and balance to prevent the corrupt practice under the scheme? Why this question is asked here? CAG की reports हमें पहले बता चुकी है कि भाई LTC में बहुत सारे issues होते हैं, बहुत सारे malified practice, बहुत सारे fake invoices दिए जाते हैं. My point is, कल I have a word with the online seller. He told me, sir, government employees will order me online. We will deliver them. We will raise the GST invoice, and later on they can return back with any kind of excuses that this is not in fit, this is not as per the description provided on the site, or whatever the reason they have put it cited. So point is there any sufficient check and balances are there? Because as far as GST is concerned, this kind of transaction is B2C, where invoice-wise details are not supposed to be provided to the government or to the GST department. So my point is there any kind of a sufficient check and balances, like you have to give the bank statement for the whole year from October to 31st March to check whether there is any kind of a return back or such kind of a practice. So to my mind, LTC is something where there are so many things where there is so many open issues which government should deal with. Otherwise, it will another scam. It will be seems as another scam. Another topic is related to special festival advance scheme, where government has provided a 10% interest-free scheme by way of prepaid SBI RuPay card for each and every central government employee if it is interested to opt for. Loan amount should be repayable in 10 equal installments. Loan is extended on the eve of important festival if opt for. And list of important festival is going to be decided by the head of the department. It is not decided by the government. It is decided by the head of the department of the employee. So I don't want to say more thing about this scheme because I don't think so this is very relevant scheme, because they have stated that this scheme is now extended to the gazetted officer. I don't have seen any kind of a logic behind that, because at one end you have said that government employees have already enough money to spend, and on the other hand you have said that we have to provide the interest-free loan to the government employee to spend. So this is something contradictory. I don't have much more say on this. Is there any question answer on the topics?
Hello, sir. Sir, thank you very much for that extremely informative session. I think you've summarized a lot of key points about the LTC scheme and also touched base with the special festival advance scheme. Now, there are a few questions from Facebook if you could answer, and then we'll move on to the participant questions.
Yeah, surely.
Okay. So the first question is, can the LTC scheme or can the schemes be extended to purchases that are made with EMI facilities or loans? Would you like me to send this in the chat box, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll send you the question, sir.
Just a minute. This LTC also available for private employees also. They are available to the private company employees also, but the private company have to follow the prescribed guidelines issued by the central government. What is the prescribed guidelines? Prescribed guidelines that you have to incur the 3 times of the fare as well as the leave encashment. The point is there is no policy of leave encashment in the private companies. So we have to check whether whether this LTC scheme can be availed by the private company employees. But yes, government has already clarified that this is also applicable to the private company, provided that the scheme meet the prescribed conditions. Can the scheme be extended to purchase made with the EMI facility or loans? Answer is yes.
Okay.
There is no restriction that you can purchase from your own funds. There is no restriction under this scheme. You can purchase with the EMI facility or loans.
Okay, sir.
But the point is, you can claim the deduction to the extent of the EMI you have paid till 31st March 2020.
Okay.
2021.
Okay. And sir, there was talk about the state governments also adopting these schemes. So, in your opinion, can we expect that up to 50% of the states will adopt these schemes?
I think this scheme is not up to the mark because government has come with a new slab rate that you have an option with the new slab rates. Under that slab rate, you cannot claim this scheme, right? Almost 75% or 80% employees have already availed the LTC scheme. So point is, there is very small number of employees are now interested to avail this scheme.
Okay. So the employees who have already withdrawn their LTA entitlement for the year, they are not eligible to avail these exemptions, right? Or are they?
As far as LTC is concerned, if they have already availed, if they have already withdrawn the advance amount, right? But availed the amount, spend this, they can avail the benefit of this scheme. Let's take an example. You have taken an advance for the LTC in the month of July or in August, but you have not spent the expenditure, and you have not applied for the leave encashment in your August or July month. Now you can use that advance amount under this scheme. There's no restriction in that.
Okay, sir. So if there are any more questions from the participants, do post them in the chat box and we can go over them. And also for all the participants who are here with us, and for those of you watching on Facebook, we're live on Facebook. So if you want more informative webinars like this, do sign up to our WhatsApp group. We'll be conducting webinars quite frequently on topics that are relevant to taxation and finance. And those of you in the webinar, you can find the group in the chat box, the link to the group. So. Sir, as of now, I think the questions have been exhausted. So anyways, thank you very much for this session. We've got a few questions clarified, but I'm sure that we're looking forward to more information, more intimation from the government, because there are still points that are not very clear with the scheme, right? So anyways, thank you very much for this session.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me such a big opportunity to interact with such a nice audience. Thank you so much.
So, thank you.